welcome to Noble Character Crafts. My name is Amy and I'm coming to you from eastern Nebraska, where I live with my husband and our 5 children. Today is Thursday, September 28th, 2023. A huge welcome to any new or returning viewers. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you really enjoyed this episode. This is a channel all about my crafty life, and today I have knitting and crocheting to share with you all. I will have links to the places that you can find me in the description box below, as well as the show notes for this episode. I am hosting a year-long make-along on Instagram called the Make 9 2023 Mal, and that's for you to join in the Make 9 challenge, where you choose 9 projects that you would like to work on this year, post a grid of those projects to Instagram, and then anytime that you post a progress picture or a finished object picture on Instagram, you can also include the hashtag Make 9 2023 Mal, and that will enter you in the drawing to win a prize, which I draw periodically throughout the year. I have 3 prizes that I'm going to be giving away this time. This one I had announced as a prize a couple of episodes ago, but it was never claimed, so I'm going to be trying to re-gift it. This was gifted to me by Danielle of Midwest Stitches, along with a lot of other things that I've been able to gift to you all, and also several things that I have been able to keep for myself. And this one is a beautiful yarn from Hobby Lobby in the Yarn Bee brand, the authentic hand-dyed line. This is the Lilac Luster colorway, and it is 100% superwash merino wool fingering weight. And I've also included a progress keeper on there that I put together, which I think is super pretty. I love that bead. And I thought it looked nice with the colors in this yarn. So the winner of this prize is at Sina Knits on Instagram. Congratulations to you. For all of the winners, if you can just get in contact with me, either through direct message on Instagram, which is the best way, or you can also get in contact with me through my email at noblecharactercrafts@yahoo.com, and let me know your full name and mailing address, and I will be happy to get these prizes off in the mail to you all. So congratulations to you. The next 2 prizes were both gifted to me by another viewer of this channel named Joy, and she sent a beautiful, huge package of wonderful yarns and goodies that I'm so happy to be able to gift to all of you all as well. This first prize is this gorgeous, I love the colors in here and thought they were really perfect for autumn. This is by Louisa Harding Yarns in the Amitola Grande line, I guess. It is a subtle self-striping blend of wool and silk. It is a thicker yarn, but I don't know if it's easy for me to tell what it is. It's 100 grams for 273 yards, so I think that would probably be a DK weight. And it's 80% wool, 20% silk. The color number is 507. So pretty. Along with this ball of yarn, I'm including this beautiful notebook. It's got this beautiful print on it, and it is Handmade Journals by Anne Osborne Reed at AOR Journals. And it is a knitting record book, so you can keep track of your stash in here. Yeah, this is like a stash notebook, so you can keep track of how many skeins you have, the colorway that you have, the weight of it, all of that useful information. So the winner of this prize is Becca RB on Instagram. Congratulations to you. And then the final prize I'll be gifting today, again, is from Joy. And it's this beautiful hank of yarn by Freckled Whimsy hand-dyed yarns. This is a DK weight self-striping yarn, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It's a total of 245 yards for 100 grams. And the colorway is called Pumpkin Kisses and Harvest Wishes. And I thought that was also perfect, of course, for fall. make a fun pair of Halloween, like, you know, Halloween inspired socks. And I'll also be gifting another one of these notebooks, and it has the same type of information on the inside of this one as the other one, so you can keep track of your stash. This one has a little card included with it for the, well, from the maker. But it's the same as the other one, just a little bit different shape, a little bit wider, I guess. The winner of this prize is Cafe Bean Counter Knits. Congratulations to you. I know that you have won a prize before, so congratulations to you again. I think I still have your information actually, so but please just send me a quick note just to make sure that you saw this. Congratulations to everybody who won a prize this time. Continue to join in the make-along if you haven't already. I would love to see the different things that you would like to work on this year, and it's never too late to join us. It's just a participatory make-along. You don't have to finish anything, so just join in at any time, and yeah, you'll be eligible to win prizes along the way as well if you include the hashtag. So congratulations again. All right, today I am wearing a handmade item. This is called Blue Christmas, a design that I test knit for Tara Kennon of A Loop Through a Loop. I test knitted it quite a while ago. I just found I had just flipped to my page where I had kept notes on this project before. Oh, there it is again. I was afraid I wouldn't be able to find it as easily. I knit this back in 2021, in the spring of 2021 as a test knit. And this is the other garment that I made using Knit Picks Comfy Fingering. So on my last episode, I showed off my finished object of my Color Splash tee that I also used the same yarn for. And this is the other garment that I have made using this Knit Picks Comfy Fingering yarn, which is a fingering weight, 75% Pima cotton, 25% acrylic. The colors I used in this one are honey and white. Yeah, I really love this top, and it's kind of unusual colors for me. Honestly, I don't typically wear a lot of yellow or even bright white, but I just really love the color combination of these stripes together. And yeah, it's kind of a fun transitional piece to wear because it has these almost elbow length sleeves, but it's still made in the cotton, so it's not really appropriate for hot summer. It's not really appropriate for cold winter either, but it's good for those transitional months. I've had a hard time wearing this with jeans or any type of, it has been easy for me to wear this top over dresses because I cropped it, and I also have had a split hem. But I had found that when I was trying to wear it with jeans or other sorts of pants that it was too cropped, and I would have to wear an undershirt underneath it, otherwise my side would show. So I decided to modify it by seaming up those sides in the exact same way that I seamed up the sides in my Color Splash tee by using a crochet hook and just slip stitching the side seams together. So I did that, I had just had a split hem on the ribbing. And so I just did that, and I'm really happy with how that closed it up. And I think it will be more wearable now, having done that little modification, because now I think it will. I've tried it on with some jeans. I'm wearing it over a dress today, but I have tried it on with some jeans, and it is a much better length now, having those side seams closed up. So I'm really happy that I was able to do that, because I think I'll wear it a lot more now, especially now that the temperatures are cooling off a little bit. All right, I have a few finished objects to share with you all today. The first is my September Knit Picks Felici socks. So I have been working through my Knit Picks Felici stash this year, trying to knit through a set of yarn, one colorway per month. And I've also been knitting through my collection of sock patterns designed by Litton of Crazy Sock Lady Designs. So this pattern is called Dragons in the Night. I'm going to rotate the sock on the sock blocker here so that you can see the pattern that runs along the front of the sock. a little bit better anyway. So you can see it's just got this fun texture that was really, really easy to memorize. It's a 12 round repeat, but it's easy to memorize because a lot of those rounds are repeated. So it just gives this nice texture to the sock, and I really am happy with how this worked with the self-striping yarn. So I made the medium size. I cast on 64 stitches using US 0.2mm needles. I did 20 rounds of the 2x2 ribbing. After the ribbing, I then decreased my stitches down to 60 stitches, which was easy to do in this pattern because there's just a bit of stock in it along the edges. So I was able, as soon as I started the leg, to decrease my stitches to 60 stitches, which is a better fit on my foot and leg. And then I followed the pattern as far as, the stitch count, besides just having 4 less stitches total. But it was very, very easy to adjust the pattern for that. The yarn is, again, Knit Picks Felici. The colorway is called Desert Rose, and I absolutely love the colors in this one. Last time I recorded, I was in this purple stripe here, and I hadn't at that point realized that this purple stripe is as wide as 2 stripes, which I've never seen in Knit Picks Felici yarn before. I've only ever seen even stripes in Knit Picks Felici, but in this colorway, this purple stripe is as thick as 2 stripes. So that was unusual and a surprise, but I like it. I think it still looks great. For the heels, I used a contrast color, well, actually more of a coordinating color, I guess I should call it. This is actually from a mini set that I got from Joy a long time ago, but the same lady that gifted some of that yarn that I'm giving away. And it was a mini set by Sweet Fiber. This mini is called Tropical Sunrise. Knit Picks Felici is a fingering weight 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon base. The heel yarn is an 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon base, but that doesn't bother me to have a difference in yarn weight or yarn makeup. They're both fingering weight, so it works still. But I really love the colors in that. If you look closely, you can see that it has both kind of this goldish color and this more raspberry type color in the heel color. So I thought that was really fun to pull out those different colors. And I always like to put in at least a contrast heel color with my self-striping yarns. I added in a slip stitch detail to the ball of my foot, which I always do on my own socks. So 30 rounds before my toe decreases, I start adding in a slip stitch detail where I slip one, knit one on the bottom of the foot for 1 round, and then the next round I just knit plain, and I just follow those 2 rounds for a total of 30 rounds before I do my toe decreases. That just helps reinforce that part of my sock where I tend to wear holes most easily. So I started these on September 1st and I finished them on September 21st. And I really love how they turned out. I saved the skein that is my favorite colors for my birthday month. My birthday was earlier this month, and so I saved my favorite. This was probably my favorite. It was my favorite colors from my stash of Knit Picks Felici for my birthday month, but I love them. Another finished object I have to share is this Musselburgh hat. So I had just started this last time I recorded. I don't remember where I was, but I wasn't very far, I don't think, into the hat. So this is a pattern by Ysolda Teague. This is the 3rd time that I have knit this hat. The 2nd time that I have knit it in a thicker yarn. The first time I knit it in fingering weight yarn, but then the last time I knit it, I used worsted weight. And this yarn is actually classified as bulky weight, but I think it's more of a worsted weight when it's knit up. I knit it to this same gauge. I used the same needles and I got the same gauge as I got when I knit it in worsted weight yarn. So this yarn was also gifted to me by a viewer of this podcast named Kim. And it is by Yarnspirations in the Caron Latte Cakes yarn. And the colorway is called Kissy Kissy. So it is classified as a bulky weight, but I think it's pretty thin for a bulky weight. I think it knits up, and I've even crocheted it a little bit into some little squares for my scrappy blanket that I'm working on, and it works up as worsted weight in my opinion. It's 58% acrylic, 42% nylon. So I used a US 6 4mm needle for this project and got a gauge of 5 stitches to 1 inch. Here you can see the color striping of this yarn, which I think is super fun. I'm sure you're all familiar with this pattern, but as you can see, you just knit a long tube. You start off with, you know, some increased stitches, knit a long tube, then do decrease stitches so that then you can fold it in on itself. Oh, that's right. This is the 4th time I've knit the Musselburgh hat because I knit 2 of these in fingering weight. I forgot about that. Anyway. So you can fold it this way, and then with the color changing, you get 2 colors, 2 kind of looks with the different color stripes. And then you can also fold the brim up so that you get even more variety in how it looks. My son really likes this, even though it's got some lighter pink colors in it. My son loves this hat, so he has claimed it for himself, which surprises me, but it's cute and fluffy and he likes it. So I started making the adult medium size, but then I made a mistake and didn't do the last increase. So I ended up only getting to the adult small size for the number of stitches that I increased to, but it seems to fit really well still. But I did knit it to the length of the adult large size because I'd like to have extra room to be able to really fold it up nicely. So I'll try it on so you can kind of see how it fits me. And my son's head is not much smaller than mine. You know, heads don't really change much from my son is 10, my youngest son is 10, the one who wants this. And anyway, head sizes don't change that much when you're that old. So anyway, yeah, it's just really nice and cozy. It's going to be so perfect when it's winter time because it's going to be so nice and warm with this. You know, you have basically 4 layers over your ears here, and it'll be nice and cozy. So I really like how this one turned out. And it's just such a fun, easy pattern. I really enjoy making it in the thicker yarns because then it works up so nice and quickly. So I love this pattern, and I'm sure I will continue to make it throughout, well, in the future. All right, those are my 2 finished objects that I have to share with you, so I will go on to my works in progress. The first one that I was so excited to work on after I recorded my last episode is this Rainbow Ripple baby blanket that I am working on using up Christmas sock yarn scraps. And in my last episode, I shared with you how I had received some sock yarn scraps from a viewer of this channel that had some Christmas scraps that she didn't know what she was going to do with them, and so she sent them to me, and I worked them up into this blanket as soon as I could. As soon as I finished recording the last episode, I worked on this until I had worked through all of the Christmassy yarns that she sent my way. So thanks again, Tammy, for sending your scraps to me. And here is another little gift that I received from Joy a long time ago, and I remember it's from her because it has her name on it, but it's a little Christmassy mug with cocoa in it and a little chocolate candy on top. I don't know who made that, but anyway, you can see the different colors that I crocheted into this pattern that I received from Tammy, and I love how that has added to the blanket. So this, like I said, is a baby blanket. It is a free pattern by Celeste Young, and I am just going to be making it much larger than a baby blanket, so it will be more of a throw to have in our home, using up all the Christmas sock yarns. Now, I don't have any more in my stash. So I need to make more Christmassy socks in order to have leftovers to add to this blanket. But this will be a long-term project, I'm sure. It's just fun to be able to have a project that I can use my Christmassy scraps in. And I just love this pattern so much. This is now the third time I've made this pattern, and definitely not the last. So I just love it so much. I think it is so much fun. I love scrappy projects. I love crocheting blankets and I especially love this pattern, so it's just a wonderful project. I just adore working on it. It's a treat to work on. As you can tell, I mean, I worked up those patterns those yarns as quickly as I could, and now I'm out of yarn again. I can't work on it, but that's okay. Like I said, it's nice to have long-term projects too, that, you know, there's no rush in getting them done. They're just joy. It's just a joy to work on them when I get the chance. So I love that. My next work in progress is another crochet blanket that I'm working on. I haven't put in very much into this project since I recorded last. And I'm going to lose a few stitches if I'm not careful here, but that's okay because I think I'm going to rip out these last few stitches I've put in. Anyway, this project is the Faith blanket, a design by Helen Shrimpton. And I absolutely love it. I am making this all out of worsted weight yarn, 100% acrylic yarn. I started off making this using scraps. Well, I still am using just kind of leftover yarns. I have purchased a few skeins to add to this blanket, but pretty much I'm just using up a bunch of yarn that I didn't know what I was going to make with it, but I put it together and like the color combination, and I'm enjoying making this blanket so much. Last time I recorded, I had just finished this white section, so I've really only added 3 rounds onto this blanket. But again, it's another fun stitch that I really enjoyed. So the first 2 rounds I've added here were in the dark navy blue color. And then the third round I've added kind of has this part that peeks through. Here's the back side. So you can see how that's done. Kind of, it's worked behind the stitches you just made. But it just makes that really beautiful texture to it, which I just love. Now I'm on, I think, round number 50. And I've just started round number 50 here. But I had to put it down because it's another new stitch called a star stitch, and I'm a bit confused by the written instructions, which I have been following for the entirety of this project so far, but Helen also includes a picture tutorial with her pattern, and I think I'm going to need to refer to that to better understand how this stitch works, because you're crocheting into some different places. And just reading the written instructions, I'm a bit confused on where I'm supposed to be working my stitches, and I think I've messed it up a little bit. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but I've only done, you know, this one little corner, and then I think one more. I don't really know. It kind of ripped out maybe, but yeah, I think I started into the side here, but anyway, I'm going to rip back and start this round again, looking at the picture tutorial, because I think that will be easier for me to understand what I'm supposed to be doing. Hopefully I can catch on to that stitch, because then it was a couple nights ago when I was working on this row, and it was pretty late at night and I just didn't have the brain power to figure it out. And I haven't picked it up since I tried that, but I need to sit down when I have some time to really concentrate on it so I can figure out this new stitch, and hopefully it will be understandable so that I can get back to this, because I just love working on this project so much. Oh, I forgot to mention the hook size that I'm using on the Christmassy blanket. I'm using a 3.5, I believe. Yeah, 3.5 millimeter hook for that Christmas scrappy blanket. And then for this one, I am using an I 5.5 millimeter hook. But I just love this project so much, so I really want to get back to it and figure out that new stitch so that I can make some more progress on this blanket. Okay, the next project I have to share with you is being held in this autumnal bag that I sewed up myself. And in here is my last project off of my Make 9 list called the Heroth Shawl by Claire Walls of Felici. And I haven't made a ton of progress on this one since I last showed you either. Here is a progress keeper marking where I was last time I shared this with you, so only maybe an inch and a half, maybe. Not a ton of progress. But it's really an enjoyable project. I am holding yarn double for this project. I'm using fingering weight yarn and holding it double to make a DK weight, which is what the pattern calls for. The yarn I'm using is Knit Picks Palette in the Oregon Coast Heather colorway, which I love so much. I love the color variation in this yarn. It's so beautiful. And here you can see the pretty side panel in this design that has this pretty lacy texture to it. I'm almost done. I think I just have 4 more rows before I'm done with this chart repeat, and then the pattern will switch back to having the lacy section on the 2 end panels, and the middle section will be plain, so it'll repeat this first part again, if that makes sense. So you repeat it like, so it has 1, 2, 3, 4 repeats of the stitch pattern, and then you switch and alternate the patterning for the lacy section. I hope that makes sense. The rest of the shawl is knit all in garter stitch. You start off this pattern with the widest part, so casting on lots of stitches, and then you're decreasing along one edge. So your stitches are getting less and less as you continue working on this project, which is nice. The yarn is 100% non-superwash Highland Peruvian wool. I'm using the recommended needles, which are US 7 4.5 millimeter needles, and all the needles that I use are Chaugu red lace. So this progress keeper here was made for me by my friend Eva, and I really love how this is coming along. It's just a really easy, fun pattern to work on. It's very easy to memorize, and I still look at the pattern or the chart for the lace section, but other than that, it's very, very easy to work on. So I love that one too. I only have one other work in progress to share with you, which is being held in this bag, which was also gifted to me by Eva and her family. It was picked up at a handmade market type thing. And with the leftover yarn that I made the Musselburgh hat out of, I still have quite a bit of this Caron Latte cakes cake left. And I wanted to work up a cowl out of the leftover. So this is the second time that I have knit this pattern. It is called the For You Cowl, which was gifted to me by a viewer of this channel named Leslie Alcock of Leslie's Lake Life. And I was a little bit nervous that the pattern wouldn't show up with this fluffy yarn, but I think it's looking great. You can still see the fun texture, even though the yarn, it's not as clear as it would be in a, smoother yarn, but it's still visible. You can still see those waves of the texture of the pattern. And I think it's really beautiful. I love it. This is really a very simple, again, very memorizable pattern. And yeah, it's very, very easy to work up and really fun. So this is kind of my travel knitting project that I have on hand right now that I can take with me wherever and work on very easily. I went down in my needle size this time to a US 7 4.5 millimeter needle. The original pattern calls for US 8 5 millimeter needles, but I thought that I wanted to try to, last time I made the pattern, I'm a pretty loose knitter, and last time I made the pattern, I thought that my gauge could have been tightened up a little bit. This pattern originally calls for worsted weight again, and like I've said, this yarn I think is more of a worsted weight. It's really not that thick, even though it has the fluffiness to it. I'm just going to knit this as long as I can until the yarn runs out. It starts off with a few rounds of 1 by 1 ribbing, and I weighed my yarn after I was done with the ribbing on this one end, and it only took 10 grams to do the ribbing. So I'll probably just knit until I have maybe 12 grams left or so, and then bind, or then do the ribbing so that I'll have enough to bind off and everything. So that is a really nice and easy project that I can take with me wherever. Those are all of the works in progress that I have to share with you all. That's all I have to share with you today. I hope that you enjoyed watching this episode, and I hope you all are doing really well. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.